An update on the Backyard Brawl. It's not looking great. Is there anything that can be done to keep this rivalry going?
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. Welcome back into Locked On West Virginia, where we're talking Backyard Brawl today, freshman dogs today. Rich Rodriguez has been ranked in a couple different magazines, pretty damn high. We're going to go there too. But yeah, this one's wild. So the more we look, the more we find. And here we go again. The Backyard Brawl is not looking like it's going to be able to stick around past this season, which places a ton of pressure on Rich Rodriguez to win this year's iteration of it. Now, let's talk about why that is. So, it's a gut punch, in my opinion, because it's our sacred rivalries with Pitt, right? I mean, we need this to happen every year. And I feel like it's just been crushed by some of the latest moves. I mean, look at this. The brawl is in dire straits, and it's a warning sign because, just earlier today or yesterday, I'm sorry, we had a jam-packed schedule, things coming out, different teams we're going to be playing in the next few years, which looks like a 3-year hiatus can't be avoided for the brawl unless a miracle happens. And there could be one last shot. So let's dive into exactly what that could look like. Folks, Ren Baker's been a busy guy, by the way, but it's kind of been bad for the brawl in a sense because our non-conference slate is locked up tight through 2028. 2026, we got Bama on September 5th. We got UT Martin on the 12th, and then the neutral site, Virginia, came against the Cavaliers in Charlotte on the 19th. 2027, Alabama again on the 4th. VMI on the 11th, and then Ohio on the 18th. And then 28, you got Tennessee in Charlotte, Youngstown State, and Akron. And that's it. No room for Pitt. That means a 3-year gap unless something collapses, which is a dagger to this rivalry's heart. So why is this happening? Obviously, the lucrative Charlotte games are very important to the fan base as a whole. So Virginia and Charlotte, Tennessee and Charlotte, both going to be important games for different reasons. You can imagine what that's going to look like. It's going to be probably a home field advantage for West Virginia in that game, believe it or not, even though that's in the South. We have such a big alumni base in Charlotte area. There's just no way, right? And then if you look over at the Pitt side of things, I mean, and look, like I said, we're thrilled about, I think most people are, about the potential of Charlotte with Tennessee and Virginia. So point is, West Virginia's not going to cancel those, period. So what about Pitt's schedule? Unfortunately, it's a brick wall. 2026, they got UCF. Then they got Wisconsin. That's 2 Power 4 teams in the same year. It's not going to happen, man. They're going to add us with that open slot unless they drop UCF or Wisconsin. So, I mean, to play 3 Power 5 teams would be Shane Lyons-esque. So, 2027, Pitt's only got 1 Power 4 game, and that's Wisconsin. So, but we have Alabama that year. So, basically what we need is for the SEC to play 9 and the Alabama game to get axed, and then there's the long shot we need. We'll play them in 2027. But the brawl's still going to go away, it looks like, for an extended period, unless both teams just decide we're going to set some shit aside and we're going to make this happen. So that's it, right? We need the SEC to go to 9. We need Alabama to drop our home and home so that 27 can open up, swap Alabama for Pitt, keep VMI in Ohio, and boom, the brawl's saved for at least for a year. That's a big if, though, because West Virginia being they want to play those games in Charlotte. You want to get those bye games like UT Martin, Youngstown State. So they're prioritizing filler over the rivalry, and I understand why, because we've been playing two Power Five conference games for way too long. It's frustrating, man, and I don't understand why, but these things are done so many years in advance that there's not a whole lot that can be done. It's going to happen, right? So we get them back in 29, 30, 31, and 32. But that's a little bit of a ways away. And what a frustrating thing it is. Nobody wants to lose Pitt. I don't anyways. I think it should be played every year. I think Virginia Tech should be too, but you can't play two Power Fives every year, which is why conference realignment sucks, unfortunately. So that's really all I got on the brawl part of this. Just wanted to explain the update since yesterday's games came out. I'd seen an article or two about it. I had looked at it yesterday when it happened and realized what that meant as well for our future schedule. So, losing Pitt off the schedule for a few years places a ton of importance on this year's game. Guys, can you imagine, just for a second here, somehow, some way, Pitt gets the better of us this year? And I know it's like puking in your mouth. You don't want to say it. I get it. But if it somehow happens, can you imagine what it would be like to live the next couple of years with them having bragging rights? It's got to be like how Virginia Tech feels right now with us. It's frustrating. So we got to figure out a way to get this win in Morgantown this year so we can at least have a few years of bragging rights. Because I'll be honest, the rivalry, I won't miss it as much if we won the most recent one, right? So, unfortunately, I don't know what else to do about it. Really, I feel like this is something that probably could have been taken care of, but I'm not going to sit here and criticize Ren Baker when he's had all that he's had to go wrong. I mean, come on. Name an athletic director that's had more go wrong than Ren Baker. I'll wait. If you can find one person that's had more go wrong than Ren Baker, I'll be shocked. There might be one guy out there or one girl out there, one woman, but I doubt it. When you look at what the total thing, like I'm talking women's basketball, men's basketball, and football, and that's not even mentioning what everybody else is having to deal with in NIL and the new rules and the settlement that just came in and everything that comes along with that. Plus, Ren Baker's very hands-on anyways to begin with. So I couldn't imagine what it would be like trying to fundraise, figure out what the budget's going to be. Oh, by the way, you've got this schedule looming out here, but Bob Huggins just got fired. Oh, Neil Brown, everybody wants him fired. Oh, Don Plitzwhite leaves after a year. Oh, got to hire Mark Kellogg. Oh, got to hire Ross Hodge. Oh, got to hire Darren DeVries. Oh, Darren DeVries is gone. Oh, every single player on the team the year that Bob Huggins left went into the portal, just about. Almost every player in August. There was nobody left to add. It was like this time of year, wasn't it? I can't remember anymore. I can't remember anymore. It was like right before the season started, so it was a little later. It was like August, I think. But so here we are. We're in the situation we're in. Ren Baker's done a good job considering all that, guys. I believe that with all my heart. Let's go to break. When we come back, got some exciting things to show you. Been looking and digging into the freshman files, is what I like to call them. The freshman files for West Virginia. And I picked out a couple guys I think that will make impacts this year on different varying levels. And one I think is going to have a major impact as a freshman. Stick around. We'll talk about him next. This is Locked On West Virginia. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by Game Time. When it comes to Game Time, we're doing it big. And Game Time loves doing it big because the NBA playoffs are happening. You know that. The intensity, the buzzer beaters, fans losing their gourds. It's the kind of atmosphere you must experience live. Why? Because this year's matchup are already delivering. And if you want in, Game Time makes it fast and easy to get great seats. And look, if you're looking for the biggest playoff games, prices, what have you on the app, Well, they actually drop closer to tip off if you want to know a cool secret. That means you get killer last minute deals, panoramic seat views in the app before you buy, and upfront charges, which means no surprise fees at checkout. They're not going to add $10 for a service fee or delivery charge on the end. No, not happening. With game time guarantee, you know you're getting the best deal. If you find a better price in the same row and section, they'll credit you 110% of the difference. Find somebody that'll do that. It takes the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create code account Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase. Read the terms, and then once you apply, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off today. And download that Game Time app where you get last-minute tickets at the lowest prices, and you get them guaranteed. And you're going to find out the question of questions. What time is it? It's game time. And in segment 2, let's crack a do, because I got to be honest, man. It's a fun day to be a Mountaineer when it comes to tape. You know that. And I just happen to have a treat for you today on deck. So 3 freshmen I have chosen for you guys that I think will impact this team in different ways. Let's start out with Cararius Bomar, who is an absolute stud of an athlete. I have to be honest, man. You know, he is interesting. Obviously, he and his teammate Armani Weaver came over together. I showed you guys Weaver the other day, but I didn't get to show you Cararius Bomar yet, who I think is the more explosive of the 2 players. So let's enlarge the screen here. Here he is at wide out. Now, West Virginia has him right as a defensive back, but I wouldn't be surprised if he plays wide receiver at this level as well. He's that fast. So, I mean, you see the route he just put on old guy, and then look at him. He's way down the field. Here he is again at receiver, and he is really just a straight line guy. I mean, he gets down the field, and he is gone, baby. And he makes good catches as well. Here he is I believe, on defense. He could be on offense here. It's hard to tell because they changed uniform colors. Yeah, that was an interception. So here he is on offense this time, a little post route, catches the ball in space, and then watch him get to the outside and outrun everybody to the end zone. And you like to see that. That's how you know he's got them wheels. Here he is again at wide receiver. And he just put a really nice move on this guy, and it's just pure speed again. And this kid can run. He really can. He's probably a 4.4 kid, if not a little better. You know, if you look at on tape, I mean, it shows. It shows for sure. Here he goes again. I mean, look at he just looks like he's running in fast motion compared to everybody else. Would you believe that this kid is playing DB for West Virginia? His highlight reel is literally nothing but receiver almost. But he's even better at DB is the thing. Look at that play. So I think this kid is going to make an impact this year in the room. And I think he can make an impact on special teams as well, which you can see here. And I think he's a guy that you can move over to the offensive side of the ball if you really wanted to, and he would absolutely be able to make an impact. I believe that. I mean, look at the long speed. I mean, he is so darn fast, man. And you know, size may be a factor for him. I think he's 5'10" ish, so you know he's not exactly the biggest player, but man, does he get down the field in the heartbeat. But look at him come off the edge here, out of the slot. I mean, he's on that quarterback in a hurry for the sack. Nicely done there. Here's a wide receiver running a really quick 5-yard hitch, and then it's just pure speed. He outruns everybody 30 yards to the end zone, dodging guys as he goes in and out. You know, here's the thing. If I'm guarding him right here, I don't know who the coach is for that team, but I mean, he is, and I understand why, but he is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 yards off Cararius Bomar. And you've got no help in the middle of the field. Like, in my opinion, this is a dumb thing to do. You may as well walk up where this referee is and put your hands on him before he releases, because watch him take 3 steps and just take the slant, and it's over. 1, 2, 3, boom. You're not going to, I mean, you're not going to catch him in time. It's not going to happen. I don't understand that play from the DB, but good touchdown. No, he got abused that game. That was the second time. Here he is again. Same play. Oh, on a bubble screen as well that time. And you can see the skill. So he's a kid you can do a lot with. And I'll be honest, in this day and age, this is our version of Travis Hunter. Could Cararius Bomar come in and play both? Maybe so. I think he's got the skill on offense for sure to be able to. Although they've got him rated as a defender, I mean, you're watching it with me. He is very skilled at the receiver spot. Now we're watching some blocking. You can tell that's him right there just by the way he moves. But and you saw the route here. So get back to it. So if you see the route here, watch him break down about right here and make this cut out. You can start to see it, and that's you can see put the brakes on that. And it's that same kid that he abused all game long. This kid's abused. Poor thing. Look at him run across the field here. I mean, you can just tell who he is by the way he's moving, right? Like I didn't know because I didn't look. I don't even know if it showed at that time. I think the quarterback was just dropping back. Yeah, like if you're just looking at this, you don't know exactly where he is right away. But as soon as I saw him, the quarterback take 2 steps back, my eye was drawn right here, right? Because he just moves at a different speed than everybody else on the field. Boom. Watch him come across the middle there. Well, it was the other kid. But yeah. So as soon as he popped into my frame, it's like, wow, here he is again, right? They had and you know what's confusing me is because that's Armani Weaver. I keep forgetting his teammate is going to be a receiver for us, and they're both about the same speed. I totally forgot about that. So it's wild to watch them both run. Could you imagine guarding them? Both these guys. There's Weaver, and look at Bomar. Like they had speed on the field for sure. There's Weaver again right there, number 6. So, very impressive. Oh my gosh, what a play here. Let's watch this again. I missed it talking to you guys. I apologize. Their quarterback's got an arm, by the way. I wonder where he went. I bet he went somewhere. So here he is right here. He catches another bubble. Looks like he runs into traffic. Okay, so stiff arm, cut back. How's this kid? How do we recruit this kid as a DB? Like this is what I'm saying. Evaluation is hard. Like if you'd have told me that he was a wide receiver, I would have been shocked at all, right? This kid runs routes like he's extremely fast. He doesn't really drop the ball. And I mean, look at it. I want to ask somebody so bad, like, is Bomar is he going to play receiver for us? And why, if not, why? Is he that good at DB? Like I've seen his DB stuff. It's very good. And certainly he probably has a little more upside there because of the size. But good Lord, this kid can play offense too, I think. I don't know. I mean, this is why I say I'm sure he has more upside at DB, but it's almost hard to believe based on all these highlights, isn't it? Incredible stuff. I mean, this kid's really talented, right? Like, I'm honestly shocked that, and here he is at DB, and you can see like that. There's a reason. Like, I get it. Like, the wide receiver highlights are very, very good, but those guys that are undersized that can run like that, they're not exactly rare. Like, you can find them around the country. We got a bunch this year, right? So you look at how he moves on the defensive side of the ball, and it's just a little different. It is. He's instinctual. Like this play right here. Watch how he's sliding down. It's almost like he's reading it before it gets. Like it just seems a little more natural for him. Here he is right here. Like he was reading this play the whole way. As soon as that running back went in motion, this running back goes in motion. He knows where the play is going. Running back motion, and he's moving down, and he's on it right away. So, I mean, those instincts will serve him well, no doubt. I just think most of his best stuff is at wide receiver, as far as in high school, like production wise. Not that he's better at wide receiver than DB. I mean, you can see listen, we got to steal on this kid. Honestly, we did, because him and Weaver both are extremely talented. Oh, did you see the hips right there, guys? And then we'll move on after this play. So as this player here really gets on it, just so good. Like, as this player really gets on it, watch his hips flip around and start to cover here. As this player gets even with him, watch the hips. Watch how quick he gets them flipped around and starts running with the player. That's one of the things that when you're looking at a DB, like, what's going to make this guy really good? It's not straight line speed, because you're running backwards as a DB. It's, you've got to be able to keep the speed up and then be able to turn and close, make distance. And watch the hips here. Bam. I mean, just so fluid, right? Very fluid. I mean, it was so easy for him to flip around. It's not easy to run backwards and flip around and keep running. Try it sometime. And I mean, he almost, on that play, that's an interception by him. But on that play, he was playing it safe. Watch him. He stays off a couple yards here. See, he's staying off, and then he makes up the closing speed. Very impressive kid to see, really. I'm excited to see what this kid ends up being for us. As long as we can keep him for a year. I mean, I don't know if he makes a huge impact on defense this year. I do think we'll see him make an impact on special teams and stuff. I've talked about these kids since they came to West Virginia, both of them, Weaver and Bomar, because they came on the same day, right? They were both committed the same day, and they both blew me away the same day, both of them. So, we'll see. Like I said, I'm excited about him. Could be a two-way player. Absolutely, Jacob. Let's go to break really quick. When we come back, let's check out another player that, I'll be honest, before yesterday, whenever he committed, the meter on him I did months ago when he committed, Chad. But if you were going to ask me for one off the top of my head, a hot piss meter for Cararius Bomar, it's up there. It's probably in the very good to elite range, because for me, I think he's potentially a two-way player, but at the very, very least, he's going to help you on special teams and be a very good corner with the potential to be all Big 12 kind of kid. I really do believe that. He's got the athletic ability. His size is the only thing that would limit him at all. And he's 5'10". He's not small for a DB, but at these days, they're 6 feet, 6'1". So he's just a little bit off. But I mean, athletically speaking, you can't really get much better. So I'll give him let's give him a 42. I think that's pretty fair. But can he rebound? Oh man, day number 63 in a row. Drummond wants to know, but can he rebound? Let's go to break really quick. And on the other side, we'll give a hot piss meter for West Virginia football in 2025. All right, we are back here on Locked On West Virginia. Very funny, by the way, Kim in the chat. Hot piss meter for West Virginia football. That's pretty funny. All right, so let's get to the next player. I started watching tape on this player yesterday, and the reason I'm playing, you guys know, if I'm playing tape of a player, I like them, right? And I think there's a chance with the player. Obviously, every player that I've shown you guys, there are going to be some that don't pan out. It's just the way it works. But I do believe that every one that I've shown you has a chance to be good, right? I really do believe that. This kid here, Camden Pittsburgh, you can see the production. 87 catches for 1,205 yards and 21 touchdowns last year. That's insanity. It really is. It's one of those things where I had to do a double take because I was just shocked. Now, here's where you're going to be like, roll your eyes a little bit. This kid is a dynamo of an athlete, but he's 5'8". Like, he's very small. and very skinny. Like as he'll be the smallest player on the team. I'm almost sure of. If there's somebody smaller than him, I'd be shocked. We'll see. But as far as an athlete goes and like what he can do with the ball and how fast he is, it's all very impressive. Check him out here. With the ball in his hands and a little stutter step, and he's gone here. And you can see very, very good speed down the sideline. Very fast. He's a slot kid. I think he'll make an impact there. A little nice route on the safety and just too much speed to another. And it's so, isn't it nice to have these speedy slot guys back in the fold at West Virginia again? Like when we're really good, this is the kind of player we have. We haven't really won a lot with Rich Rod with outside receivers. I mean, Chris Henry, sure. Guys like that. But generally speaking, it's all about these slot kids that can run and look at the functional strength there to push through a guy that was trying to check him. Pretty nicely done. I don't believe that he is. Now that I'm looking at this, it's hard to tell. What I just saw said he weighed 145. I don't think that's true. I mean, I would love to be wrong. Or I mean, I would. I don't. It's hard to tell, really. But I mean, just looking at him on the field and how he moves, I think he's probably closer to 170. You would think, but who knows, man? Who knows when these are updated? 145 just doesn't seem right, though. But maybe it is. I don't know. I mean, he's definitely got the speed and quickness of a 150. And he'll gain the weight anyways, either way. But I mean, this kid's got the potential to be very dangerous in the slot. So I'll be excited to see what he turns into as well. This is one of those kids, like I said, that Rich Rod traditionally had that, right out of the spot right here. If you want to run him back around and give him a jet, you want to run him around and give him a tip pass. You want to let him get the ball and maybe toss it. You can do things with him. And then at the end of the day, he does this, which this is the route I've been waiting for you guys to see, by the way. Watch the route he puts on this kid here. Absolutely just slices and dices him. Very nicely done. And, what am I always griping about? These kids that don't flatten the routes out, they round them off. Watch him flatten. Use the 20 or the 15-yard line as a guide. That's what I was told. So when a receiver comes out of a break, depending on the routes, a lot of times you want them to come as horizontal to this line as possible and even back towards the quarterback in some cases. But you definitely don't want to see like this half moon kind of thing or, like that kind of shape or rounding it off, because it just gives the quarterback a bad angle. It's the same thing as if you've ever played basketball. Have you ever seen somebody trying to throw it into the post and they'll take one dribble and they've got a better angle to give it into the post? It's the same kind of concept. It's just a receiver here. So obviously he broke there at the 10, but that's a pretty route there too, and it's not a hard route. It's just executed so well. You've got 1, 2, 3, and it's cut. And the good ones, they don't get tackled on those. This could be a rub route. Nope. That was a nice route too. So he's got these outbreaking routes down here. Nice cutout, and then he's gonna get to the pylon. Not surprised. He's got a nose for the end zone. 21 touchdowns on the year. There's a reason for that. Here he is on the bubble. Elusive, right? But, at the end of the day, it's the speed. But I think what he'll be for West Virginia is he's got speed, but I think the route running has a potential to be very good for him. I don't, because he's not uber athletic as far as like, name somebody like Jaheim White that can dance around or something like that. Like he does it a little bit, but like it's not elite. So what he's good at is cutting and running. So, which is all you really need to be a good receiver anyway. But I think he could be a really productive player for us, especially if he gains some weight. So, hot piss meter for this kid, I'll put it at a 40. I think he's less talented than the player we just watched, but at the same time, he's more refined, if that makes sense. Like his route running is clearly better than what we just saw, but he's not as athletically gifted. So it's a give and take with this kind of stuff. All right. Let's get to the next player, I guess. I mean, might as well just go straight to it. Camden Pittsburgh there, though, is definitely an interesting one. An interesting one. By the way, I wanted to update you guys on this. I think you guys know I got let me just share it with you guys. See if I can get it right here on the show live. So this is something that I got earlier today from the Big 12. Credential application for 2025 Big 12 Media Days has been approved for the following. My name. Media Days will be held at the Star in Frisco, Texas. If you'd like to book a room at the adjacent Omni Hotel, to Star, click here. Blah, 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 blah. So, this was something I posted earlier that's been a lifelong dream for me to be able to do. Unfortunately, there has been something come up, and I don't know exactly what happened, but I got another email just before I came on here that said that somehow the entire group of us that I were in our company put an application in, and something went wrong along those lines. I'm not going to say a lot right now, but I have a couple suspicions on what happened, and I want to make sure that I'm right before I even say anything. But I'm going to go ahead and re-put in this application and see what happens. I have a little bit of evidence about something else that happened, and I just don't know if it's going to impact it or not. But I do know that it was tried. There's some people that just aren't happy that I got that right. There are people that feel like they deserve it more, or there are people that feel like I don't deserve it. You know, so and I'm sure they would be love to see me, be unhappy about it or whatever. Reality is I'm still going to make. I shouldn't say that. The reality is I'm still going to have a really great job and a place that I really love and a community that I really love, and you guys. And I'm not going to let anybody, no matter who it is, at the end of the day, affect me to the point to where I make bad decisions. I may get upset, right? I think it's normal to get upset. People this day and age, like they'll wear it like a badge of honor if they get a reaction from you or whatever. If that's what gets people off, then fine. I just wonder what's hurt people so bad to act like this. But I will explain more at a later date if need be. At this, because I have the wherewithal enough to know that because of how I've been treated in certain situations, that I could be jumping to conclusions. And I absolutely, even though I have a couple things, I want to make sure, right? Before I ever accuse anything of or anyone of anything, I'm going to make sure. So, all right, let's get to the tape here. I don't mean to make it about me again, guys. I'm just a little sad. I really thought that, I'd already started trying to book a hotel, and I was looking into, either an Amtrak or a plane ticket. I wasn't sure which one I was going to go yet. But and maybe it still gets approved and everything will be fine. And that's great if it does. But man, I just had already put so much effort into getting that all set up today. It's just unfortunate. What if I'd already bought all everything? What would they do then? These were hours apart, these emails. I mean, some things are refundable, sure, but not always. I know Greyhound tickets aren't, so anyways, moving on. Brandon Caesar, big defensive end out of Cleveland, Ohio.
Sometimes it takes.
Is somebody that I want you guys to watch with me. I'm trying to think of a good comp for him. Not one really come to mind at the moment. Maybe as we watch I'll get a little bit more, but he's a big boy. He's 6'4", 260 pounds, and man, can he move. Let's get the thing enlarged here, and we'll move it back a little. So, he is one of those guys that really strong. Uh, I think his biggest strength is his strength, and also, for somebody that's 6'4", 260, I think he's closer to 270, maybe 275. This kid can really move. Here he is again on the edge, and as you can see, nicely done. Nicely done there. That's not a great angle to watch from. Hopefully, we get a different one here in a second. But here he is right here in the white. And as you can see, just really strong, right? Loves to eat up blocks. You know, and maybe here he plays inside a lot. And as you can see here, just wreaking havoc. Just wreaking havoc, man. The kid knows how to play. Here he is inside right here. And you see he's got a little bit of athletic ability there. He chased down a ball carrier. Here he is on offense, pulling around, driving the kid completely out of the screen. Wow, that was impressive. Here he is here on the edge, and you can see he's got something to him, right? A little something to him. Here he's again on the edge, on defensive end this time. That's what you want to see out of him right there. That's where he's at his best, right? This kid isn't a speed rusher, and it's okay to admit that, right? It's okay to admit that. It's not a big deal. Let me get back to it where I can pause here. Um, so this is a straight up bull swim. It's like a combination of a bull rush and a rip move, right? I talk about it all the time. I guess it's technically club rip. One of the very most basic techniques you learn as a defensive end, which I did play. It's basically you just take that big paw and you club, and you're allowed to hit anybody in the shoulder pads as hard as you want, or in the even in the ribs some, if you can get low, as long as you don't get seen. And then you use that momentum to get underneath with the rip, and you rip up through so they can't get their hands on you. And watch this move here. This is a good example of what a club rip looks like, but it's really got some bull rush in it as well, which I wasn't ever capable of, but this kid is. And so, okay, so he comes off. So see, there's the club and there's the rip through. That's how you do it. Really, it was just a bull rush more than anything, though, to be honest. I think he's at the top of the screen here. Yeah. And as you can see, for a big kid, changing directions well. Here he is at the bottom of the screen, defensive end. Nicely done on the run there too. He didn't get juked out. You don't always, know what's going to happen there on those. Here he's at the top of the screen coming off, and he defeats two blockers to get to the quarterback. Very strong guy. Probably Sean Martin is a good comp. I don't want to say he could be better or worse than Sean. I think that he's very similar. He's not quite as big as Sean Martin, who was 6'6", 6'7", but he's got that kind of where Sean wasn't a speed rusher either. He was a really strong guy that could get to the quarterback. Certainly, he was like a hybrid defensive tackle playing defensive end, right? And that's kind of what this kid reminds me of. I mean, if you want to give him 20 more pounds, you could just move him inside and keep him there, and he'll be a force from there too. He's already strong enough to take on blockers. So, or you slim him down, you take 10 pounds off of him, 15, and see if he gets quick enough to maybe actually beat guys with speed on the edge. But I mean, as you can see here, it's just power. That's his game. I mean, it's really tough to keep him off of kids, especially one-on-one. Let's see what this one looks like. Yeah, so it's just that power, right? I mean, and look at the legs on this play. For whatever reason, it's not letting me pause it. When I want to here, let's go back to 302 so I can get to that again. Um, Watch his leg drive on this play. I mean, it's just chop, 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 chop. I mean, he's chopping and chopping wood, right? Chop, 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 chop to the quarterback. That's what you like to see, man. That's effort. You want to know why he's at West Virginia? Because of that effort. And he's got a little hard edge to him. I mean, you can see it on tape. And that's what, Zach Alley was saying in his interview yesterday, right? How do they interview these kids? Well, it's a myriad of things. It's getting to know the actual player. It's interviewing everybody that knows them that you can get a hold of and that will tell you the truth. And it shows through just on tape. You can literally see a kid's character on tape, 50% of the time, let's say. This kid right here plays hard. Have you seen a play that he doesn't play hard in? He plays hard in them all. I give you that they're highlights. I always want to make sure that we bring that up because you're not going to see bad plays on highlights, but you can spot poor technique on highlights, especially at the high school level, because like I say all the time, these kids in a lot of cases are so good that they're not winning with technique. They're winning with overall skill and athleticism. So a really bad tackle in technique can absolutely dominate a sophomore that's playing his second year of football ever or whatever. But in the college level, Dante Stills is going to absolutely destroy that guy. If he catches him leaning one way or the other, whether he's stronger or not. So let's check up a couple more plays of Mr. Caesar out here, and he's through the defensive line, and that quarterback just gave up on the play, didn't he? I don't blame him. Top of your screen again. He's just a dirty. I mean, not dirty like in bad. He likes to get muddy in there. I mean, he enjoys it. He's tough to block though. Like, you can't just get arms on him. He's going to walk right through you. He did it just here. Let's go back to 3. We'll watch 1 or 2 more and we'll be done. Like this kid here. I mean, he's just trying to it's just all arms, right? Watch. No chance. It's all arms. He's going to run right through that. So enjoyed watching this kid today. I think he's definitely got something to him, off the edge there. He's not, I don't think he'll be an edge rusher in college. I mean, maybe he ends up turning into something special and I'm wrong, but like speed wise, he's not showing that so much, but there's a ton of other stuff that he does extraordinarily well. So, I mean, his get off is quick as hell. So I don't know, guys. I like him a lot. I think he's a good addition. I think he's, I got a potential to especially, one of those hybrid. Yeah, he's got a nasty streak, Chad. That's right. He's got, he's one of those hybrid like we had with Taj. Is it Taj Austin that went to Colorado from West Virginia after like 3 or 4 years? Or if you look at, like I said, Sean Martin. We've had other players like that in the past too, kind of like a Julian Miller, these bigger defensive ends that are 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", that play, really more inside. Or, you can bring them off the edge a little, but they're really, they're going to collapse the pocket in. They're not really going to get after the quarterback a ton. So, yeah, he's a guy that can play all 3 positions, basically. It's a long-winded way to say that. All right, y'all. Appreciate you for joining in. I'm going to jump off here, start researching my next video. If you didn't know, Google Cloud's been down all day. I've been trying to record for hours. So finally we've been able to do it. So I should be back on with something else for you guys tonight. I'm trying to make sure I get at least 2 or 3 in a day just because I feel like I'm being lazy if not. So, but make sure you like this one if you don't care, please. Before you leave, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And definitely hit that subscribe button, guys. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and for being part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We talk about your team every single day. And oh, by the way, the Portal Report over on YouTube. My guy Brian, he does it big over there. Go check him out. If you want to be the most informed fan on the rapid change of the college football landscape, find the Portal on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. and I'll see you then. I'm out of here.